Welcome to today's deep dive. We've got a really fascinating stack of research in front of us today.
Yeah, we really do.
Specifically, as I look at this eye-opening report by the DFCRC and DACA, they are outlining Australia's digital finance opportunity, which right now sits at a staggering $24 billion annually.
Annually, yeah. And sitting right at the center of this is a surprisingly undervalued piece of infrastructure called the Redbelly Network.
Okay, let's unpack this, because modernizing this financial plumbing could actually boost Australia's GDP by a full 1%. That is no small change.
It's massive, honestly. The report divides this opportunity into three pillars. You've got better markets, better payments, and better assets.
Right, so basically removing all that legacy friction in traditional finance.
Exactly. But there is a catch. The report calls it the realization gap. If Australia just relies on its current infrastructure, they might only capture maybe $1 billion of that $24 billion by 2030.
So they're missing the foundational bridge to handle regulated digital assets properly. Wait, why are we leaving $23 billion on the table?
Well,
I mean, we already have massive networks out there, right? Like Bitcoin and Solana. Why can't we just use those? What is the actual holdup?
what's fascinating here is the underlying mechanics of consensus. Networks like Solana use probabilistic proof of stake, and Bitcoin uses proof of work.
Right, the classic crypto models.
Yeah, and both of those rely on a leader node to propose the next block of data. So if the network hiccups or leaders disagree, the chain can momentarily split or fork.
Oh, so it's like two people editing a shared spreadsheet at the exact same time without syncing.
That is a perfect analogy.
Sure.
You temporarily end up with two different versions. But Redbelly uses DBFT. That stands for Democratic Byzantine Fault-Tolerant Consensus.
That is quite the mouthful.
It really is, but it's important because it's entirely leaderless. Every single node agrees simultaneously, making it deterministic and genuinely fork-proof.
And if you're a major bank moving billions, that absolute certainty isn't just a nice to have, it is non-negotiable.
Exactly. A traditional bank cannot handle a transaction that probably settled.
But absolute certainty usually costs you in speed, doesn't it? Does this actually scale?
That's the crazy part. They have benchmarked it at over 73,158 transactions per second.
Wow.
And they keep the gas fee fixed at exactly 1 US cent. Always.
So institutions don't have to worry about unpredictable fee spikes when the network gets congested.
Exactly.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because you hear those numbers and assume it's just more theoretical crypto hype.
Right. Vaporware.
Yeah, but traditional finance is actually biting on this. The Reserve Bank of Australia conditionally selected Redbelly for Project Acacia.
Which means they're actually going to host a CBDC pilot on a public blockchain.
And that institutional validation is just the tip of the iceberg, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Look at the real-world assets, or RWAs, already moving on-chain. While a lot of networks are chasing speculative meme coin volume, Redbelly has quietly secured over $33.7 billion in institutional RWAs.
Those numbers are frankly massive. Where is all that volume actually coming from?
The bulk of it is a partnership with Arx Veritas and Bluebird. They have tokenized $32 billion in carbon credits.
32 billion.
Yeah, which has prevented an estimated 394 million tons of CO2 emissions. Plus, you add another $1 billion in unlisted private equity via Liquidize.
And you suddenly realize this network is running actual global capital markets right now.
Exactly right.
So we've talked a lot about massive institutions and central banks. But this directly impacts you, the listener, as well.
It really does.
A big reason why is Redbelly's use of Ricardium contracts. Instead of a smart contract being just lines of code that only a developer understands, Ricardium contracts act as a legal technical bridge.
Right. They're executable code, but they're also legally binding human-readable prose.
So it's essentially a smart contract that holds up in a real-world court. It enforces accountability right at the protocol level.
Exactly. Which means you don't have to blindly trust a faceless counterparty.
Right. By stripping away that information asymmetry, it effectively democratizes access to a global capital pool estimated at over $100 trillion.
You get the protection of traditional finance without needing a Wall Street broker. If we connect this to the bigger picture, Redbelly is essentially building Finance 3.0.
They aren't trying to bypass the traditional financial system.
No, they are taking the unmatched efficiency of Web3 and fusing it directly with the rigorous compliance frameworks of traditional finance.
So what does this all mean? We are looking at an infrastructure that prioritizes compliance and certainty, yet the broader market seems to be undervaluing it.
Completely flying under the radar.
Between the unmatched technical specs, the real-world asset volume, and that RBA validation, Redbelly is laying the groundwork to completely revolutionize how capital markets operate.
And this raises an important question to leave you with. We know artificial intelligence models require consistent, non-probabilistic data histories to function properly.
Right, they can't run on a maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if Redbelly offers entirely deterministic, fork-proof validation, could this network become the foundational settlement layer for the next digital supercycle? A completely autonomous, AI-driven economy.
Now, that is a massive concept to mull over. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll catch you on the next one.